and welcome back to Cage Giselle Says. And today I say let's talk about second pregnancies. Hi guys, and welcome back to Cage Giselle Says. And like I said earlier, today we are talking about pregnancies, specifically second pregnancies. I was super caught off guard by how different this pregnancy was from my first, and I wish somebody would have told me, because I could have sworn up and down that it was going to be so easy. My first pregnancy was with a boy, and it was easy peasy, but I was much younger. I barely gained any weight. He was a big baby. My first son was 12 pounds. Yeah, 11 pounds, 14 ounces, basically 12 pounds. And the whole thing was easy. Just his birth was quite an experience. And if y'all want to hear that story, let me know. But I wish someone would have told me how different this pregnancy was. So first things first. If you had a C-section the first time, your second pregnancy, you're going to feel pulling on that area. All that scar tissue. No, like no one told me that was going to happen. It can literally feel pulling in that area, especially towards the end. And because I have big babies, this last baby boy was 9 pounds, 14 ounces as well. 9 pounds, 14 ounces. So he was pretty big, but not as big. But I was huge. Insert picture right there. Yeah, I was still pretty big. You can feel so much pulling and stretching and burning that I would suggest getting something and that noise y'all are hearing, y'all, is my chair. But anyways, I would suggest if you carry large babies or you're heavier, get good support pants or leggings that can really like hold your belly up for you and help you carry that load. One of the other big things was I was never sick with my first pregnancy. I did not have morning sickness. I did not throw up, not one time. I was sick to my stomach for months here. It was so hard. That was actually the first sign that I was pregnant, because we got here to Germany. I found out on Valentine's Day that I was pregnant, and I kept saying to my husband, bro, this smells like, this hotel room smells so bad. And he's like, it doesn't smell like anything. I was like, it's making me so sick. I was sick all the time and my smell was heightened. Now, mind you, he had just gotten home in January and I found out I was pregnant in February. So literally as soon as he got home, I got pregnant. So all these symptoms were right off the bat. I was nauseous for a good 4 months. It was rough. So just because you didn't have nausea with your first does not mean it's not going to happen the second time. And if you do have nausea with your first, you might be good and golden the second time. I hope so. Because after experiencing that, little scared if we get pregnant again, because that was the worst feeling. I could barely function. Next, I'd like to talk about things that helped me through this pregnancy that I did not need or have with my first one. First thing being nausea drops. I'll find a picture and put it here. So those I was eating all day long, and those helped me so much with nausea. It was super duper helpful. I also invested in a pregnancy belt. Pregnancy belts are like these thick belts that hold your belly up. Literally, you can just go on Amazon or anywhere and type in pregnancy belts and you should be able to find it. That was so helpful when going for walks or doing anything. Right when we got here, lockdowns for COVID weren't going on. So we were able to go like a few places, and all the walking with that heavy belly, it really helped to have the pregnancy belt. And sometimes it would still feel heavy, but at the end of the day, just having had that support, it wasn't as bad. I wasn't in pain at night, so it was super duper helpful. Now, this tip, some of y'all might think I'm crazy, but I'm gonna go ahead and say it if for the sakes of people that are planning their families and that can time it the way they want. Our gap between our boys wasn't on purpose, but it is one of the most helpful things. Our son currently is 7 years old. Well, he was 6, obviously, when I got pregnant. His birthday is in March, and he turned 7 while I was pregnant. Having that big of a gap. Now, I don't think you need that big of a gap. Our gap is because of the infertility, but having a larger gap in between your kids can be so helpful, especially during pregnancy when you don't have energy. My big boy was so helpful. Anytime mommy needed a nap or was having a hard time doing something, he would help me with napping. He would just sit next to me and he'd play his Nintendo Switch and just be a good boy and give me like 30 minutes, and you know, we'd go and do something fun. He's always checking on me, always helping, and now that his baby brother is here, he's super duper helpful. He's so happy, he's so excited. I'm team big gaps now. I wanted smaller gaps in between my kids, but obviously I didn't have any control over that. It was all in God's hands. And we have a big gap, and I'm thankful for it though. It's so helpful, and he's such a great big brother, and he loves doing everything he can to help us with his brother. That is another tip. If you can, I would put some space in between them. Don't be in a rush to have them back to back. If you want to, by all means, but if you're looking for advice, you know, new moms, hey, go ahead. I would have a gap. One of the last things I want to talk about with this pregnancy are not things that helped me, because that was pretty much it. Just making sure, having my big boy that helped me, having the drops to help me with the nausea. Those were the two things that were the biggest help for me. But of course, drinking a lot of water was another one for me, that helped a lot with just keeping me feeling okay, making sure I drank a lot of water. But one of the other things that I dealt with that was different in this pregnancy was my medical issues. I think oftentimes women that have an easier first pregnancy, you're just not thinking it's going to be that difficult the second time. You just don't. It's not that you think that your body is better than anybody else that had issues. You just don't think about it. And with my first son, I do believe they missed some things. Because he was 12 pounds, and that's just, it's 12 pounds. And I pushed for 21 hours with him, and he got stuck, and ultimately his heart rate dropped. I caught a fever, and we ended up with an emergency C-section, and thank God he was born healthy. But had he come out vaginally. But with my second one, I had so many issues from the jump. They gave me an early, glucose test to check for gestational diabetes. They give it to me early because I'm much heavier now than I was with my first. So when you're usually heavier in weight, they go ahead and give it to you early. I had it very, very early. I had to be before 12 weeks. And my sugars were high. So then I did the 3-hour glucose test, and it showed that I had gestational diabetes, and I struggled very badly with gestational diabetes. I was taking taking insulin 3 times a day, taking my glucose levels 4 times a day. It was super high. I ended up hospitalized just so they could monitor it towards the end for a little bit because it was so out of control. But I would just say, when going into your second pregnancy, to remember that there are a lot of medical things that may have not gone wrong with your first, and to educate yourself on them again, especially if you have a big gap. It was like having a baby for the first time for me. It's been so long. It's good to kind of catch up on everything, kind of do your homework. I gave birth here in Germany at Larmsee, and I had the best medical care that I have ever had in my life, not just with pregnancy, but in my life. I had an endocrinologist who worked with me on the gestational diabetes. I had a high-risk OB, and she was amazing. They were actually married, which was awesome. My endocrinologist and my high-risk OB are married, and they worked together to make sure I got the care I needed. And we also ended up finding out that I had a thickened ventricle. I do not know the correct medical term for it, but it was a little concerning because I was having chest pain. So I ended up on propranolol for that. And I had an amazing cardiologist. So I had 3 doctors, and they all were amazing. And we had a planned C-section, and it went pretty smoothly. I'll tell that story in another one because my birth story was something. But yeah, with your second pregnancy, I think it's important that everyone know that it's not always gonna go the way you think it's gonna go. Especially as you get older, your body changes in general, and then with pregnancy, it's a whole nother ball game. So those are all things that I think people should look out for. So I know this was a bit of a shorter video, but there wasn't too much I wanted to share on the pregnancy because I want to share different parts of it in another video. Like, you know, telling my husband I was pregnant, our birth story and all of that. That'll be a separate video. But I hope the few things that I shared were helpful for you guys, what was different for me in this second pregnancy. So that's about it for today. Thank you guys for watching my little short video. Thank you for supporting this channel. Like, comment, subscribe, share, chit chat with me. Let me know what you want to hear. Again, I'm just a little tiny channel and I'm building. Please let me know what you guys would like to see. Love you guys. Take care.